is not a drill. This is a drill.
Hello everyone, this is Julian. Just want to make sure my levels are good. Check, 1, 2. I think we're good. Give it a little bit more. Check, check, check. Hello. How are you guys doing? It is Black Friday / Thanksgiving. It's good to see you guys. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday, and I hope you guys get some great deals today. There's a lot of audio manufacturers doing their thing today. If you want to support the channel, there is a link in the description below for Amazon and Loopmasters, Loop Cloud and all that. And if you buy anything with Loopmasters, Plugin Boutique, or Amazon, I should be able to get a commission on it today, even with the discounts. So if you're doing some Black Friday shopping, you could help out the channel a little bit too. Anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. If you aren't familiar, this is my monthly live stream that I do for my patrons. I think my mic should be good now. If it's not, then I will turn it up a little bit more. Anyway, yeah, these are my monthly live streams for my patrons. I do these every month. If you are a patron of the channel, $10 or above, you can submit your project files, and then we pick like 4 or 5 of them every month, and we work on them on stream, so I can give you guys a little bit more feedback to what it is I'm doing. Apparently, everyone's saying there's a weird noise. I think it might be this channel. Let me know if that fixed it. If not, then I don't know what the problem is, and I may have to make some more adjustments. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. How about now? Hello. It's like my mic is very cool. Don't know why. Hello? Check, check, check. Well, if that's good, then we're good to go. All right. So the first project of the day, we have a few today. I have 5 submissions. There were 6 submissions, but one of them, the Google Drive link did not work. When you're submitting these next month, make sure to include the access for the Google Drive. Sometimes you submit the link, but then don't grant my account access, or it's not, link sharing is not enabled, so I can't get it properly. Make sure to do that, otherwise there may be issues getting your project file. Okay, so we're going to start off with the, let's see, the first project today is, I believe it was this one, Underworld. These are out of order, I just know the order that they were submitted. So this is Underworld by Frescobaldi. One of the patrons, Mark Eldon, sent in a Google Drive link. I'm just confirming with you, Mark, that I did get the corrected link, and you're fine. I have your project. But there was another one that did not. So I think his name was James. If not, if you could send me the project file link, James, now, that would be great. Maybe if I go back to the link, I can re-download it. But that was the one that was having issues. But I'm opening up the project file. Ableton is getting started here. Get this thing open. Hopefully that we have some of the plugins he used. If not, we might have to skip this one as well if he didn't freeze the plugins properly. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I don't know why my resizing is not working properly. Okay, there we go. Looks like he did freeze the things correctly, and we can take a look at this. So this is Underworld by Solar System, or Solar System by Underworld, and it's the Fresco Baldi remix. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen, then I'll give you some thoughts and things I would change on the project file. And James Sully in the chat, just to let you know, I just did get your project file download, so it looks like we will have 6 projects today. It means that we're going to spend a little bit less time on each of them, but we should be able to get some solid insight into all of them. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen. Let me know if the levels are good too. Should be. I'm gonna have to disable some of your mastering because I don't have the plugin, and it's making it mute periodically.
My black cold numbers, my insecurities.
Yeah, but on here too. Unfortunately, my Ozone 8 Elements is not working properly for some reason. So. Okay, turning down Ableton just a little bit. That should be good. So we don't have your kick, and then some of the Ozone stuff is messed up, but for the most part, I'm getting the gist of the track here. Next time, please freeze Kick by Nicky Romero. I don't have that. I might just toss in a kick here just to make it so I can hear something there. And then, of course, you can remove it and use your own kick when you get this project file back. But I just need something in there, so I'm just going to grab like a Matt Lang kick or something. It's kind of in the vibe of this one. If you haven't picked up Metaphysical by Matt Lang, it's one of the best like packs of this kind of stuff, and I would advise doing so. Here, I'm just going to use that. Oh, breakbeat. Okay, so this stuff's irrelevant to that now. I'll pull out some mids. I think this track is really solid. It sounds really good. That's what you got as far as the vocal processing goes. There's not a ton of issues I have with this one. With right mastering, I think this would be amazing. I own Ozone 8 Elements, but for some reason it doesn't activate properly. Let me just use Ozone Advanced really quick. I just want to hear it with a limiter on it. Let's see.
I rest between rubber, my spider shadow.
song too. Whoever wrote the songwriting is incredible. I think this is the vocals. That's the percussion. I'm looking for the vox. If you can give me insight as to where that is. Is this gang?
Shatter, dancer, crystal fingers, crystal fingers.
Oh, you have
Shadow.
There it is. Are these original vocals for this, or is this part of the remix? Because really liking these. Okay, so for the vocals, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of processing on them, but I don't think they're far off from where they need to be. They sound good as is. I just think you could cut a little bit less, or a little bit more from the bottom.
My eyes burn naked.
Go for like a little bit more breathy of a tone, and you can do that by pulling the bottom out. At least what I, in my opinion.
My eyes burn naked. My black cold numbers.
And I'm not seeing like any reverb or anything. I'm not sure if I don't have your plugin for reverb. I can't tell if this is a reverb plugin or something. Waves tune real time. Oh, that's your auto tune. Yeah, I'm not seeing like a verb at all. I'm just gonna toss on a little bit of reverb. I think that could help. So I'm gonna use Valhalla DSP, and I'll use Valhalla Room. It's my favorite. It's got this very, very nice shiny tone to it. We're gonna use it at like a 11 to 15%, and give it a little bit of decay, like maybe 2 to 3 seconds. This way we can have this nice shimmering background tone. It's not clouding up the sound at all because of the 15% mix. This is essentially like using a send at like, 20% or whatever. And then we have this decay at like 2 to 3, I'll say 2.5 seconds, and give it a little bit of a high cut so we aren't getting all of that shimmer. We want to kind of disguise the reverb a bit. We don't want it to be super aggressive and in your face, and by letting everything through, it's going to be. So I want to pull off some of the top end, but not a lot. I'll go down to like maybe 10K, maybe a little bit less, like a 9 or 8K.
My insecurities.
So let's hear that with and without it.
My devious nature.
I think it adds a nice atmosphere to the vocal.
My eyes burn naked.
Maybe give it a little bit more reverb, like a 20%. Again, we don't want to take this too high, otherwise we start losing the tone.
My eyes burn naked.
I'm thinking that sounds good. Yeah. Maybe like a little bit more decay too, actually. We'll go closer to 3 or 4 seconds. And again, this is like very disguised because we're only using it at 15% mix amount, or 20% mix amount now. So this 4-second decay time is only filling in the ambience of the background. It's not very present. So don't be worried about like that massive delay.
My
Okay.
eyes burn naked. My black cold numbers. My insecurities.
A little bit more off the bottom, I think.
My eyes burn naked.
And you can even try for some delay. This is more subjective, but I think with like a 4-count delay like this,
My eyes burn naked.
with like a small dry amount, and make it kind of buried in the low frequencies instead of very present in the top, and go for that ping pong. We can get this really cool like bouncing effect on the vocal, like so.
My eyes burn naked.
I think that's very nice.
My black cold numbers. My insecurities.
I don't know if you can see this because my camera's covering it in the bottom this is such a good track. There's not that much I would change to this. Let's go ahead and check out the piano really quick. I think that could use a little bit more atmospheric effects too. The time-based stuff really helps push these elements into the background. And I think that piano, it's a little bit too foregroundy, needs a little bit to sit a little bit better into the mix. So I'm going to add a group around that so I can leave it frozen. And then we're going to put a reverb on that as well. And for this guy, I want to use a little bit more. Let's try like a 30 or 35%. I want it to be a little bit more disguised than the verb was, and I want to give this like a similar time. Let's try 4 seconds. And let's wash out the top end a bit more. So we'll let through a little bit more of the highs of the reverb, and we won't mess with it further. Let's try that. Maybe a little bit less and give it some more time.
I rest between rubber, my spider.
And a little bit more mix. Try 40 or 45. Let's be pretty generous with this guy because it is like a background element. It's not super foreground. So it's not bad pushing it backwards a bit.
I rest between rubber, my spider shadow, shattered dancer.
And I really like now that there's this really cool bouncing effect on the main sung vocal, but the whisper is very present and in your ears, almost like it's talking to you directly. Really creative, way of presenting the mix in that way. I think it helps a lot. I'm going to try a little bit of delay on that piano too. Let's try this on.
I rest between rubber, my spider shadow, shattered dancer.
Yeah, I think that sets the piano into the mix a bit more too. Somebody in the chat recommended automating the on-off for the delay at the end of each phrase on the main vocal. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but I do agree you could do that so that each of these main phrases has the delay and not the secondary phrases. Like, let's say you want to delay this part, but not this first part. But I'm actually kind of impartial to it. I do really like how it sounds currently. It's very like Depeche Mode, like new wave style, which is like my home genre. If you didn't know, my mom was like industrial and new wave music back when I was a child. So I grew up around that. So a lot of my stuff is influenced by that Depeche Mode and that sort of era of music. So this kind of is remnant of that, and I really enjoy this track, man. Other than that, I'm going to turn up your bass just a little bit. I think that could help. But other than that, this track is sounding beautiful. There's not much I would change about it. Let's get rid of that. And I want to put that in a group just so I can put a filter on it. I think you have a little bit too much top information. So I'm just going to dial that out with a low pass filter like so. Maybe a little bit of a resonance boost around like 1.5, 1K. Maybe a little bit less actually. Let's try like 500 hertz. Yeah. I feel very similarly about that arpeggio. I think you could probably put some time-based effects on that too. I think that's this guy. Maybe not. I'm looking for that arpeggio. Those chords are so like classic house. Really, really enjoying this one, man. Great track. Struggling to find that. There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna just put a little bit more time-based effects and kind of bury this a bit. It's a little too bright for me. I think you're taking away from the vocal. So I'm just going to bury the top a little bit and try how that sounds. I think by removing some of that top end, you're unclouding the lead and the vocal together, and I think it helps set them together. Let's add a little bit of delay to this. Again, similar kind of format, not too much, and then let's focus on like the mids. Reverb. This is beautiful, dude. I love this. Beautiful track, dude. I think that's where we're gonna stop it on this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. You can go ahead and download it after the stream. And I'm really, really enjoying that one. I think it's a really solid track. Okay, so next one we have, let's take a look. That again was Underworld by Solar System. And it's the, let's see, Fresco Baldi remix. Fresco Baldi is the artist, and he is in the chat right now. Say hi. Okay, that was one. Next we're going to do, I guess from the top, I'd rather do it from the top than to get confused and miss one. So let's jump to the next one. That was an awesome track, man. I really enjoyed that. Keep up the good work. I'm curious what your inspirations are, like your influences, because that was very like 80s new wave style. I really enjoyed it, minus the break beat. The breaks were kind of more modern, but really cool. All right, we have Always, October 2019, version 7. I don't have the project artist on this one because they forgot to put it in the title. I always ask that you guys put your track title and your name in the project folder or project file name, just so that everyone on the stream knows who it is. You can always download the project afterwards, but there's no way of giving you the credit unless I have a way of identifying your name in the project file, because I just bulk download all the projects. If this is your project, let us know in the chat. All right, this is sounding cool. So I think one of the issues I'm having with this one is there's not enough low information. Even in the drop sections like here. The only main low you have is this guy. Which sounds great, but you don't have enough of it often enough. Like, that sounds sick. If we turned it up a bit. Or it might just be the other elements detracting from it. Let's try the drums only for a second here. Let's see. Bass kick. And let's try the pad in there too. Oh, pad's muted. Oh well. I guess it's not being used. Yeah, it's funny. This is a very similar in vibe to the last track we just worked on. It's very like adult contemporary, like chill out house music. Yeah, there's just not enough bass in this guy. I think you need like a sub or like a maintained droning bass line to really fill this out. I'm just going to do that really quick. I think it'd be very easy to fix. So I'm just going to grab I'll just do Serum for lack of compatibility reasons. Serum's easy. I'm just going to draw in that root note. Cool. I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's because it's in the bass group. Gonna remove it from that group. And we're gonna use a triangle wave. And we'll put a saw over that and turn it down. That filled up the bottom. Feels so much more full now that that's back in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at this pluck and add that in. I'm not super keen on the sound design. I think it's kind of bland. Try like exaggerating some stuff with some EQ, maybe that might help. Like it's a little bit too much like shimmer to the sound. It's got that crunch of the saw wave, and it sounds like a cheap saw wave. I'm not super into it. Dial some top off. Add some variety with like an automated filter or something. Let's try LFO in the filter, and we'll do like a square wave or saw wave, and we'll put on like a very slow rate. Yeah, I don't know. That helps, but I think it really needs a better sound here as a source. I think this sound is just kind of weak. Same for this guy, really. And I'm not in love how this just cuts off like that. I think you can probably do something cooler here. Like keep that bass going for a bit. Try this droning bass that I made throughout the whole thing. Somebody mentioned in the chat, as soon as it goes away, it feels empty, and I agree. So let's try. I also noticed you don't have much in the way of sidechain compression on this bass channel. I guess you do here, but it's not a very aggressive one. Let's try to add a little bit more here. So I'm going to dial it in. We're going to sidechain from the kick, and we're going to set the threshold to 0 first, ratio all the way up, and attack all the way down. We're going to listen for the click of the kick drum by listening to anything above 2.5K, and let's see if we can dial this in a little bit closer. I'm going to give it a little bit more threshold. Dial the ratio back a bit. Cool, and I'm going to throw that on our new bass as well. I also think your kick's too quiet by like a long shot. I'm going to turn that up like 3 decibels-ish. I think your clap's too quiet too. Volume on the kick. We're out of space here. We're gonna have to do it in the channel. Looks like you did some minor automation here, but I don't think it's really important. I'm just gonna delete the automation and turn it already hitting the ceiling here. I would recommend when you're working on stuff, don't write it so that you're pushing above 0. You want to dial that in so it's, you know, you're around -5, -6. So I'm going to turn this way down, and then we can do the gain boost in the master channel instead. That way we have space to push up that kick or the bass or whatever we want to, without having to keep going above 0 and clipping. have Ozone 8 on here, but you're not using it as a maximizer, instead of using the limiter, I'm actually just going to throw that last, then I'm going to delete your limiter, and we're just going to use the maximizer from Ozone. I think it's much better. What I'm going to do is dial the threshold down, like way down, and then we're going to dial it back up. We're going to push this as low as we can without it distorting, and then we can mess with the attack time just a little bit too. So it's obviously distorting, but I want to bring it up gradually and get to a point where it's loud and it's not noticeably distorted. With the different maximizing modes. Your lead is just in general too loud too. I'm really not feeling the sound of that pluck, but you can probably improve it very easily just by adding some like filter automation or something on the sound itself. I just don't have your synth. I'm going to turn that down. There's like this note that's incorrect. I think you're playing the wrong note. It's like the third or fifth. It's like instead of It's like in your pad somewhere. That's right in the middle between the two. That is totally not the right chord there. Yeah, there's not much I can do on this one because of how much is frozen, but that chord, you're going for like a... Let me see if I can figure out what note that is so you can change it. The song is in D. But you're going for like an A. Like you're playing an A, but the song's in D. So you're like a full, like 3, 4, 5 notes flat. And I would adjust that so that your whole song's in D. But other than that, yeah, this one's sounding good. I'd say keep working on it. Those small adjustments helped a lot, but I think you need to adjust the sound design for that lead and that pluck. Really cool track, though. I'm going to go ahead and save this. We're already 40 minutes in, and we have only touched 2 tracks of 6. So I'm going to try to speed this up a bit, and we'll only work on each one for about 10 to 15 minutes from here on. I'm not trying to spend 4 hours on this stream. Okay, so next up we have Davey, Win Sunbathe. Again, that was always October 2019. Don't know who the artist was, but if you're in the chat, say hi. Really cool track, and I liked it. All right. James says, it sounds to me like it's an A, but they're hanging on to the minor 4. Or is that 5? I think it's a 4. Yeah. They're playing that D over the A. Everything else in the track is A, and that the bass line is in D. So it's either you have to commit to one or the other, otherwise it's going to sound weird and it's going to be pretty dissonant. Julian, what do you think about Megastallion? Palapi Chula. He's a very good producer. I am not familiar. Please send me his music. Okay, this is Davey Sunbathe, or Davey Win Sunbathe. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen. I'm gonna grab some water while we're doing this. So lots of cool ideas here. I can tell this is like a newer track. The melodies are really, really nice. I think one of the things that's holding it back a lot is the bass isn't following the melody, and also there's not a ton of sub. So the first thing I want to address is that I'm going to go into this MIDI clip here, and I'm going to write the bass line to follow this top melody here. Let's see if we can do that quickly. Shouldn't be too hard. Okay, this is Mr. Chicken. I got this as a gift, and I really love it. I'm gonna put him back. Actually, I'll just leave him right here. Yeah, so that's the bass line. I think that's a little bit stronger now, but I want to go ahead and try to add a sub as well. I think this is still too high. Or maybe we'll just open it up a bit more so it's not as plucky like that. Give the attack to 0. A little bit more drive. And then for the upper one, I'm going to give it some voices, like detune it a bit so we have more of a pluck. Give it a little bit more sustain too, I think. That's a little bit better, I think. It's sounding more like a bass. I still don't like how short that is, and also I don't know why he's high passing this. That might be a big culprit as to why it sounds so high. Yeah, that was a weird choice. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this back to triangle. And let's listen to that with the top melody now and see if that sounds any better. I don't know if I even like the pluck. I feel like this would be stronger if it was just one note, like held. we did this. Delete the notes. And legato. Bam. I think that's cooler, yeah? You can even try this, which might actually help a lot. Very dead mousey. It's a perfect fit up an octave. Cool, that helps a lot, and I think the lead could use like some time-based stuff. Tyadris just suggested that, and it was right in my mind. Some Valhalla Room, the gorgeous plate reverb. Same kind of settings as normal. Let's give it a little bit more high end on this guy though. Toss this before the compressor. And turn that up. This is very mono. I'm gonna get rid of the gate that he has on here. And he has Anna on there. I'm gonna unfreeze this and we're gonna mess with Anna a bit. Oh no! My Anna license expired. I must have not activated it on this new computer since I've gotten it. That's unfortunate. There's this weird thing going on where it's going in and out of like phase because it's spreading out every now and then on some notes, like here. Right here, rather. Oh, that's this guy. Two different sounds. Yeah, that one's definitely like wider. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. The first sound's in mono, the second's not. Interesting choice. But I think we can fake that just by adding some like chorus on it or something. That'd be cool. Let's do that, and we'll throw it on here, and we'll put it before the reverb. I don't like chorus to reverb. That sounds really dirty. 100% wet. Let's see how it sounds. At least spread it out a little bit more. Again, I'm not super big on this sound. If it were me, I would just try this. I'm gonna like really quick just do it in Serum. I could make that sound pretty quickly. I think we can make it cooler. And in stereo. Oh my god. So I just realized why it's in mono. It's because mono was checked. That's weird. Well, now it's better. Okay, never mind. No Serum. I'm just going to copy this MIDI over. I think that sounds good. Sounds like a mobile game. I love it. Let's shift this over. Like a really cute mobile game. And that is a compliment. I love that kind of stuff. All right. But now that this is like such a big saw chord as a bass line, you can open this up and it sounds really cool. Oh, you already do. I'm just gonna grab this and give it some more lift like that. Yeah, that's cooler for sure. Oops, what did I just do? Somehow I disabled what I just did. Okay, let's try that. Cool. Kick like way louder, like 10 decibels louder, and then I'm gonna put an EQ on it and dial out some of those like harsh mids. Give it a bump in the bottom. Some sidechain on the bass. And then we got ourselves a proper deadmau5 track. Again, I'm going to go to my default compression settings and we'll dial it in as we go. Give it a little bit less threshold, a little bit less ratio. And paste that onto the lead. And it's going to sound sick. Okay, cool. So let's check out the lead, the bass, and the kick now. And I think that this bottom melody that you have in here could be a different octave or something. The sound is way too similar to the original for it to be like a counter melody to me. If you took this up an octave, for example, like that, and just made like a basic pluck really quick, like this. Everyone knows how to make a pluck. This guy here, let's mute that one. And let's give this like some unison and make it open all the way so it's very shiny. Yep. And then let's go ahead and put on some verb. I'll do room. Vintage verb is also cool. I just got into it recently. Shout out to Tidris. Yeah, there we go. Nice plate reverb and then maybe some delay. And now you have a proper counter melody. Cool. Check that out. As for the other drums, I think they can be much louder as well. Let's turn up the clap and the hi-hat a lot. It's way too quiet. Hi-hat needs less lows and a slight bump in the top end. And the clap is just a draggy mess right now. I'm going to drag this over. Shorten your fade out time to be really short and go for that mega short transient clap like deadmau5 and Cascade use. Give it a little bit of crunch in the top end. There you go. Might even try like a slight Haas effect here. That might help too. Set this to sync. Turn these down to the bottom, and then we're going to turn 1 to 10 milliseconds, and this one to 0 or 1, and then we're going to turn the feedback all the way down. Sounds awesome. Now on that hi-hat, I'm going to throw a little bit of delay as well on a 1 beat, and then we're going to set the feedback really low, maybe like 30%, and then set the dry wet way down too. It's going to create this cool bouncing effect, and it's going to create a shuffle in the hi-hat. Let's try that. Reverse clap could use some love too. I'm gonna give it a little bit of high end, and we're gonna boost the volume on that like so. I don't know if this is necessary. Then on the master, I'm going to toss on like a mastering limiter, and I think we'll call this one Raps. Sounding really cool melodic idea, and we went from like a very like new producer sounding track. I don't want to say amateur because the writing is really good and the sounds were good that were used. It's just mixing, and I think that's more practice than anything. We took that more amateur style track and we made it sound a lot more professional. Let's try it with a limiter. Kicks too loud. Cool. Sounds good, and I think we're gonna wrap this one. Mono Mode said, I don't agree with that from a mixing perspective, but it does sound cool. He's referring to the Haas effect on the clap. There's a more advanced way that you could do it. Matt Lang uses where you take the same sample, you pitch shift it a little bit on the right channel. So the idea of a Haas effect is you delay the right channel from the left channel very slightly, so you get this nice stereo effect. Like how we would perceive a sound in a room, we're going to hear it slightly before on one ear than the other. And that's true. When you collapse two channels right and left to mono, they're going to overlay on top of each other. And when you have two sounds that are identical, slightly over top of each other with a few milliseconds off, that's going to act as like a phaser, and it's going to throw the sound out of phase. So mono is right in that this will cause phase problems. Matt Lang's method is you transpose one of them very slightly, like a few cents, and the difference between the waveform on the right and left, because of that slight transposition, will prevent the phase problems as I understand. But this is like a quick and easier way to do it, and I also think that the value of mono mixing is getting minimized day by day, and I think that if you're prioritizing mono mixing going forward, it'll be kind of limiting to your creativity. I know a lot of engineers like Atlas and those kind of guys that are really pushing the boundaries of mixing, and they're doing so by utilizing the stereo field in full. And I think that thinking about mono compatibility as like a major setback is gonna hold back your mixing, or at least your creativity when mixing. So I don't know that it's extremely important, but you don't want your elements to completely disappear or sound absolutely awful in mono. So yeah. So that's something to think about. I'm gonna keep the Haas effect on the clap. If we listen to this in mono, we can hear how it sounds. I mean, it's worth a shot, but I don't think it's gonna be so bad that it's gonna be like wrecked. It gets a bit phasey, but it's really not that big of a deal, I don't think. And also, like, I can't name 5 things that are, you know, using mono that we use day to day anymore. Like maybe like a Google Home, like those kind of like smart speakers, you know, intercoms at stores and stuff. But there's really not too many places where you're consciously listening to music that still utilize mono speakers, so that's worth a thought as well. Okay, so that's Davey, Sunbathe. That's a really cool track, dude. I really enjoyed that one. Next up, we have Mark Eldon, Hardline. Let me make sure I have this dance tune by James Sully. In the folder. And while this is loading, feel free to ask me any questions or thoughts on, any of these project files or any of the techniques we're using. Pro tip, listen and monitor with both your ears and your tools. Yeah, I agree 100%. Your actual perception of the mix based on your ears is really important, and that's something that a lot of people overlook. They think about the technicalities of mixing more than they think about like the actual final product, and I think that's really important. Aren't some clubs still just mono? That is okay. So that's one of the biggest widespread misconceptions there are. I've never actually been to a club that's mono, and a lot of my friends that run live sound at these venues can confirm that almost none of the clubs they work at or have ever worked at have been in mono. I think where that misconception stems from is the fact that sub is always in mono, and at these larger venues your sub is generally like 50% of the sound or more. So you want to be wary of that when you're working on your low end. But the actual high end stuff is generally not mono, and I've never actually experienced a venue in which it was, short of very, very small venues. And the friends I'm referring to are not like small people at all. They work with major clubs, and one of which is an engineer for Warner Brothers. So take this opinion with some credibility. I think that the idea that clubs are all in mono is a widespread misconception, and I wouldn't weigh that too heavily in your, decision of whether or not to prioritize mono mixing. Okay, this is Mark Eldon, Hardline. We're listening to it now. For some reason, we're not getting anything from the base channel. The artist in question just mentioned it. I have no idea why this is playing, isn't it? We're losing it after the Kilohertz gate. I'm just going to turn that off. That's weird. Same for the base channel, too. I don't know what your Kilohertz gate is doing, but for some reason it's losing the base. Loving the bottom end. Nice syncopation in there, and the kick sounds great. Yeah, the gate is literally just being used as a gate. I don't know if that's an issue with how Kilohertz saved like the preset for the gate or something, but for some reason anything with the gate on it is not playing, so where I'm just gonna have to disable those things. So one major thing I'm noticing is that the hi-hat feels extremely loud. I'm just going to turn these two elements down just a little bit, maybe like a decibel and a half. Clap's a bit too quiet. Needs a decibel or two. Maybe even a little bit more, like 5. And then I'm going to take some EQ to that clap too. I want to give it some high end, and I want to remove some of the low end. I'm going to set the fade out time on this clap a little bit shorter, and I'm going to shorten that transient a little bit more. Again, I'm going for a similar effect as in the last track. I want to shorten the transient, make it punch in and out really quickly, and I think that'll do the trick. Short transient claps, man. It's the key. Get rid of that fade in too. Down a little bit now. Sounding good. There's like some stereo information to this. It's like slightly favoring to the left. I don't know why. I think you can see it in the peak here. Right there. I'm just gonna try to mono that. I like the stereo information. It's just a little bit too left leaning. I'm gonna try to just pan it to the right a little bit to try to counteract that, because as you know, if you're familiar with how Ableton's pan works, it's just a volume balancer essentially. It's turning the left channel down when you pan right and turning the right channel down when you pan left. I'm just gonna pan right a little bit more. There it is, a little bit more balanced. Still a bit too loud, I think. So Mark, can you explain in the chat what the gate was supposed to do? Because I can't have it on, otherwise it doesn't play. Might be my kilohertz gate plugin acting up, but I'm not sure why I have to have it off. I think you could probably go without the hi-hats here in the beginning. I think it would help to bring them in a little bit later. Maybe right here. Maybe with the clap too. Let's tackle this low end a bit here. So this is like your sub. I'm just gonna turn everything off above like 600 hertz. This guy, a lot of sub in this one too. No real reason why. Turn this down after like, I don't want to compromise the tone of the sound, but 50 hertz, I guess. This one's like more of a top end sound, so I'm just gonna dial this in like to I don't know, like 200 or something. Trying to remove as much as I can from each of these without compromising their tone. Grab these, group them, and call them a bass bus. And then let's go ahead and we can dial that width back just a little bit in the utility or something. It's just a little too wide. How to send FLP. We don't do FL Studio on this channel. Sorry. Go over to what's his name? Seamless channel. It is FL. Thinking a little subtle reverb on that clap might help. Train it sounds really good short, but the reverb could really help. Set it in the mix more. FLP to ALS converter. guy up a bit, maybe. Oh, that's loud. I'm gonna turn this down. You never want to be clipping mid-chain. It's really bad practice. It doesn't matter with floating point supported plugins like most modern plugins, but for some, they don't like it when you clip into them, and sometimes they perform worse when you do. And also, like in the analog realm, it's really bad practice to clip mid-chain. You get weird problems when you do. So just turn this down so you're not clipping right here. Turning it up at the end of the chain instead. And I also want to throw your compressor last, at least after your flanger and transient, or your flanger, flanger, whatever you want to call it, because this introduces a lot of, variance to your volume, and I think having that nice pumping sound is important. Same for your delay, actually. Down a little bit. And I'm going to take an EQ to this, too. Beautiful track, dude. I love it. Turn this up a bit. This one I want to give it less. Having that a little bit more subdued is cooler. Cool, I think that's where I'm going to wrap it on this one. We're going to go to the next song now. Great job, Mark. I just don't want to spend, an hour on each of these. Really, really cool stuff. I think shortening those transients really helped, and some of the minor mix adjustments we made helped as well. Let's read the chat a bit here while we open the next one. We have Justin K's just joined. Welcome. Mono mode said, what works for me is starting with a negative 12 gain on every channel and 6 decibel boost on the master. Once you're done mixing, remove the 6 decibel boost. Yeah, I forget who was mentioning that to me. There's this really cool YouTube channel that made a video on that, gain staging, essentially. And essentially, that's a good way to get a negative 6 decibel pre-master every time. It's a really good strategy. You guys should look into that technique that he's describing. It's really, really powerful. Okay, we have Tidris, Cavern. I have a feeling we aren't going to have to work on this one very long. He's incredible. Great track, Mark. Sounding good. Keep working on it and submit it again for next month's stream if you want. I really enjoyed that one. And your kick and your drum sound great. Really, really, really great kick sample. Or kick synth. All right, Reactor 6 is having a fit. Let's hope that's not important. This is going to be challenging because Tidris stuff always kills my computer, regardless of what computer I'm using. I think it kills his computer too. So Tidris says something different too, not trance for once. This is exciting. But I love Tidris's trance too. Keep a lookout for Tidris. I think we might have some stuff of his coming out on Gradient soon. If you're not familiar with Gradient, go check it out. gradientcollective.com. So we're loading up. Oh boy. All right, let's go ahead and give this thing a listen. I think we've checked this out on private lessons. Tidus is one of my private lesson mentorship students. I think we may have looked at this one before, but we shall see. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen from the start and give my thoughts and a few adjustments. This is so good. Yeah, the fact that your tracks can rip through an 8-core i7, like a 8700, is pretty impressive to me. Like a brand new 2018 chip. Okay, so this is fantastic as always, Nick. This is a really, really good tune. Like somebody said in the chat, I think that the snare is kind of unfitting. I really enjoy the snare, but I think you could use this in the build-ups instead. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to try to put that in the build-up, but then swap out the snare on the drop. I think that could help a lot. Okay, let's see. Build up. Okay, and let's see, copy, put it here. We're going to work on that too. My brother's in the chat. He said, wasting Black Friday streaming. LOL. That's hilarious. And then for the drop, I'm going to delete. Yeah. Mono Mode said, get this man some RAM. He needs to unlock his full creative potential. I don't think it's actually a memory issue because I'm not loading any samples really. There's probably 1, 2. Let's see. Are these frozen at all? Actually, they are. Yeah, it might actually be a memory issue. But Ableton is very poorly CPU optimized. It prioritizes single core performance over anything else because of how it's programmed. Each individual channel is assigned to a core. Each channel doesn't utilize multi-core processing. So if you have an 8-core processor, it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat 1, 2, 3. It doesn't do like all 8 cores are processing every channel. That's why like one channel with Serum on it can take out like a 8700K. And it's just really poor design in software, but they did that for live performance reasons. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to find a better snare for this. I think that will help the drop, but I think for the build-ups, you could do that like bamboo-esque snare, and I think it'd be really cool. Maybe for the same rhythm that you have the clap on, actually. So your build snare is way too like obnoxious. I think you gotta dial that back a bit, man. Let's turn the fade out down a bit. Turn that down a bit. And let's go for like a big clap kind of snare in the drop instead. Well, it might be ironic because we might be able to actually use the build-up snare as the snare. Nah, not quite. Worth a shot though. Clap sounds good as it was, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to find a better clap for you. I think the Cymatics pack might have one. Yeah, like that. Go ahead and do that. See how it sounds. Ride is extremely loud. Let's turn that down a bit. Yeah, I like the idea of like the bamboo kind of soft like jack U type snare, but I think that sample's just not good. I think it has too much high end, maybe. Like that, this snare has like a tambourine or something laid on it. You just need like the. Be like that. We can fully be Skrillex and just overdrive the crap out of it, and then limit it. Sonny does some crazy stuff like that. Let's try this. not totally sold on this, but I definitely prefer this to what was there originally. Let's try some reverb on that. Go for like the big 80s verby clap snare. Okay, that bass hit that you have right there, the did is too loud. Like 2 decibels. Let's try that. Needs like something else to that snare, like a really strong like see if we can find that really quick. I'm thinking like a more retro sound. This gives me like mad like Elenium, Porter, Audion, Madion kind of vibes. Really cool. Let's go in packs and I'll search my 80s stuff. I have a few. Like that would probably do the trick. Group the snares. And then I'm going to put the reverb on the snare only instead of... or the snare group only instead of individually. Sounding cool. Now I'm going to compress that reverb a bit. I think that could be cool too. Wreck the reverb. Cool. If you're going for Porter, I think you can do like a... Oops, sorry. That was incorrect. Incorrect. Yeah, like that. That's so like Porter. I think you need to prioritize the top chords more than like the mid-tone ones. Nice. Let's turn the reverb one down a bit and let's try to prioritize the sharp, harsh ones. On that main one, I want to add some OTT. I think that could be cool. Give it some like real crunch, like those like Skrillex kind of style. I think that'd be awesome. I think this is my favorite one of the day so far. My taste has been shifting a lot into this kind of stuff, more not quite future bass, but like this more hyper melodic, like saw wavy stuff. I think that's like my home anyway. So it an EQ as well. And we'll give it a slight top boost pre-OTT. Let's see how that sounds in the mix. Sounding cool, dude. And like little tom fills might really do you for this one too. I think that'd be awesome. Let me quickly try that. And then we're gonna call this one a wrap because it's a banger. Also, again, not trying to spend an hour on each of these. It's very time consuming. 80s. Maybe like it's not like a ooh. Do I have any? No, pack. Let's try toms. Do. Okay. This is just an idea. You don't have to do it, but really, really cool. Somebody asked in the chat why everyone uses the Expert OTT versus the Ableton one. Slightly different algorithm. The multi-band built into Ableton is slightly different. I also just like the interface more of Steve Duda's OTT. So those obviously don't sound great, but if I put some compression on these like the 80s and some crazy reverb, I think they will. Like so. It would also help if they were in key. Close enough, I think. Reverb down. Alright, let's see if that sounds good. Go for something a little more aggressive, maybe. But we're definitely in the right ballpark. That. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's listen to this build up into the drop, and then we're gonna shift to the next song. Ship to the next song. Padum, padum, padum. Tss. I would try small note. I would try like a breakbeat rhythm here. Or something. Instead of just a 4 to the floor. There's more I would do to this one, but time. Last one ready. Amazing work, Tidris, as always. Again, like I said, guys, you can expect him to be on something with Gradient going forward. Incredible musician. All right. Next up, we have the final track of the day, which is James Sully. James just said in the chat, I'm about to catch a plane to Brisbane, so I may not be able to catch it, unfortunately. That's unfortunate, man, because we're literally checking it now. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of it, and you can always watch it again in the replay. Okay, so this is the last track of the day. It's called Dance Tune by James Sully. It looks very short, so we could probably get through this pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and check this out. Just because the elements for me some reason is not working. I'll have to reactivate it. I'll have to see. Okay, this is really awesome. First things first, this is mono for some reason. Again, I don't know why you guys keep collapsing everything to mono. I think it's taking away from the tone of your sound a lot. Let's try listening to this in stereo now. So cool. I love this a lot. Yeah, I think these lead elements are a little bit too loud. I noticed that this one's in mono too. I don't know why, what the method was based on that, but I think you're taking away from the stereo image and it's really detracting from the track. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. And you have a chord here that's weird. It's this one. See if that works. I'm only going to listen to this one track so you can get an idea of the melody. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I love the suspended chord here. It was really weird here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's sounding a lot better than before. Let's see if that helped. And let's listen to that with the 2 layers. It's cool, but I think it was just way too much. And this guy, I'm gonna unfreeze it and yeah, that's flowing much better now. I'm just gonna replace that one chord in all of the sections. It's just really harsh in the ears. Not very easy listening. Yeah. That one. Okay, I think that was the only other spot I played. Oh, wait, it wasn't actually it. It was right here. Oh, wait, was it? Yeah, it was there. Yeah. That second is just weird. Cool. I think that's better. It's just my opinion, but I think that flows much better now. Okay, let's see if we can check this out now. Bass back. I don't think removing the bass here is a good idea. You're kind of just losing energy. So let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, let's see. Also needs more top. It's very low. Let's try this. For this guy, it's a little bit too like tinny, I think. For the style you're going for, I would go for more of a saw wave. I'm gonna duplicate it so you don't lose the original, but I think with like just a super saw would be stronger. Really cool though. Like melody wise is very nice. Let's see. This is a really weird patch. Oops. Let's see. Oh, your freaking phase. Oh wait, no, it wasn't a phase. Why is it doing that? Why does my basic wave look like that? That's really strange. I'm just gonna neutralize this preset and try again. And try same distortion. Cool, that's sounding cool. I'm gonna try some EQ. And then a little bit of verb. I get exactly the style of song you're going for here, and it's like my favorite. OTT. I really like where that bass line is here. I think I'm gonna add a bass to the rest of this too, and just try to use this as a bass as well. I think that would be fitting. What I'm gonna do is just copy this, paste it, shift it down. Oops. Silly. Yeah, exactly. So then we're gonna grab these. Those are already there. Okay, copy, paste, shift, down arrow. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the bass back and see how that sounds now. Oh, this is the freaking sub. Essentially right now I'm just trying to unify this with the top melody. Mad like Feed Me Wolfgang Gartner vibes on this one. I love it. Ah, why is that not going? Oh, duh. Also, not feeling your kick at all. I think you need a better kick for this guy for sure. Some volume might help though. Alright, let's hear this thing in the mix now. So that compared to this. You know, I think the Supersaw sounds much better. And I think you gotta fill out this section a bit more. The little gaps are cool, but you gotta put something in there to make it work. Otherwise, it's gonna feel very empty. But yeah, that Supersaw on the bass is sounding sick now. This one's so good. Such a cool melody. My favorite part of the track, probably. Yeah, I feel like you can utilize that more. Kind of reminds me of like old Porter Robinson too, which is my favorite. So sounding really good, man. think it's a banger of a tune. But we got to get that arrangement right, and you got to get all the parts working together better. There's so much potential right here. I would say no drums here, just go. You know, just for that. So like, you build up to this thing, you go, and you introduce the lead here. Like maybe you can put this guy here. Or maybe all of these melodic elements here. That could be really cool. Like, you know? So maybe do like that, and then let's say shorten these up and try this. Yeah, let's try just the full-on chord here. I don't think you need to keep separating these sections like by instrument. This could be the same instrument as this. Like that. So you build up kind of, and then you just kind of hit it with like a, you know what I mean? For some reason this has like a filter on it, but I don't want that. I just want it to be open here. Yeah, so we go like build up to this. Yeah, so you kind of get what I'm saying here. I'll just label these sections for you so you can work on it yourself, but let's call this build up, your drop. A good reference for this might be like Porter Robinson's Easy. He builds up into these big breakdowns and then builds up into, you know, the drop. So here we go. Intro. this too. Let's do this as well. And then for that bass, I think you should hold it here. Like. I can work on this one all day, but I'm not gonna do that. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to call it here. I think that's sounding like a banger. And keep working on this, dude. It's sounding great. I think with these slight adjustments I made, just keep on trying to, reference like old Porter Robinson, Wolfgang. And you can get this arrangement working out really well. I'm just imagining like this big build up here. And it's like a like it hits you right there, and then you build up here. And you got to work on something here to fill the void, but that's sounding really good. All right, so I'm going to save it, and that is going to wrap up this month's Fix Your Project stream. November 2019. If you guys want to submit a project file for next stream, make sure to go over to patreon.com/JulianGray and pledge over $10, and we will review your track on the stream. You also get access to our Discord live, or our Discord Patreon roles, as well as channels and special patron events and things like that. So I am Julian of Julian Gray Media. All these projects for the people that submitted them will be in the description of this video. Please don't download them if you are not the person in question. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. If you did, make sure to, again, check out Patreon if you want to be a part of it the next time and you weren't a part of it this time. And if you enjoyed it and you are a patron, thank you so much for your support. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday, and I hope you guys get some really cool deals this Black Friday. Again, if you guys buy anything off of Loopmasters, Plugin Boutique, or Amazon, I have those links in the description, affiliate links in the description below, and you can use them to help us get a small kickback of everything that you buy this holiday. So thank you again for the stream, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.